You know, we tend to think of movies as entertainment, as escape, or maybe as a reflection of our times. But what if cinema is actually something far more powerful? A technology for collective dreaming that doesn't just mirror reality but, well, actively participates in creating it. So this idea really emerges from weaving together three fascinating threads: Carl Jung's collective unconscious, the concept of Zeitgeist, and Mitch Horowitz's theory of co-creative reality. Together, they suggest that every time we gather in darkened theaters or stream films in millions of separate homes, we're engaging in something closer to magic than mere entertainment. Jung believed that humanity shares a collective unconscious that's populated by universal archetypes: the hero, the shadow, the wise elder, the trickster. These patterns, they show up across all cultures because, well, they're kind of hardwired into our species' psychic DNA. Cinema, with its unique mix of image, sound, and narrative, speaks directly to this deeper layer of mind, pretty much bypassing our rational filters. But here's where it gets interesting. While these archetypes are eternal, they actually shapeshift with the zeitgeist, the spirit of each age. The 1950s shadow was the atomic monster or communist infiltrator. The 1970s shadow was the corrupt institution. And today's shadow might be the algorithm, the climate crisis, or maybe the surveillance state. Same archetypal energy, just a different cultural costume. Now let's add Horowitz's radical proposition: consciousness doesn't just perceive reality, it participates in creating it. When millions focus their attention and emotion on the same images and stories, we're not just watching, we're participating in a massive act of collective visualization. Consider for a moment the uncanny way films prefigure reality. Contagion anticipated COVID-19's trajectory with eerie precision. Her imagined intimate AI relationships before ChatGPT was even a thing. The Social Network captured Facebook's cultural impact before most people really understood what social media would become. Coincidence? Prediction? Or maybe co-creation? Perhaps when we collectively dream these scenarios in cinematic form, we're actually rehearsing possibilities, making certain futures more likely through the sheer force of shared imagination. The superhero cinema boom doesn't just reflect our desire for saviors. It may be actively shaping how we conceive of power and intervention in real-world crises. This transforms cinema from mirror to engine. Movie theaters become temples of manifestation. Streaming services become delivery systems for collective spells. The stories we tell ourselves don't just reflect who we are, they participate in determining who we become. The implications are both thrilling and sobering. If we're co-creating reality through our collective viewing experiences, what responsibilities does this place on filmmakers, on audiences? What futures are we manifesting through our current cinematic obsessions? Next time you watch a film, consider, you're not just being entertained. You're participating in the ancient human practice of collective dreaming, potentially nudging reality in directions that align with the stories we tell ourselves in the dark. The question isn't whether this is happening, it's whether we'll become conscious participants in the process. The Dream Factory isn't just producing dreams, it's producing tomorrow.